However, I have discovered that if you put rubber snakes around your swimming pool, it will keep the birds away. So while I was on vacation, or I guess just before vacation, I bought our oldest grandson a rubber snake. And he had it at church last week. He is fascinated by snakes. And I'm petrified of them. I think it's God's way of balancing out the universe, you know. So Tripp loves them and I hate them. But you know, while I gave my grandson a rubber snake, I would never give him a snake that would bite him or choke him to death, because I love him. And Jesus said, you know, when we love our children, we don't give them things that destroy them. Examples: we don't give them too much video time. We don't give them too much independence when they're not prepared or equipped to handle it yet. We don't give them a non-curfew. Not if we love them. This is a bummer, isn't it, young people? Because you're wanting to live without those things, and I'm saying to your dads, make sure you give them. So we don't give our kids the things that are harmful to them. But one of the other things is, do we give our kids the things they need? The basics. Because if we fail, that's just as destructive. And think of some of the things that your kid needs. Your kid needs boundaries. Now, whether we're talking about hours or distance or relationships or whatever, every child needs a boundary. Your kid needs one-on-one time. I don't care how many children you have. You need to spend one-on-one time with your child or children every day. Might be just 5 minutes, but your child needs that one-on-one time. Your child needs to look up and see you in the bleachers. You're not there for yourself. You're there for your child. But when he or she looks up in the bleachers, the biggest cheerleader needs to be Dad. Your child needs emotional validation. He needs to be able to see how you express your anger, frustration, and love and sadness. Your child needs intellectual stimulation. Sit down and read a book with your child. Talk to them about the headline on the daily paper. Your child needs spiritual guidance. No offense to the women, but there's nothing that can take the place of a man leading his family to the Lord. It's a powerful, powerful image. Number 3 on the test. A father leads his family spiritually. John 4:20. This is the woman at the well, the one that Darlene just sang about. She said to Jesus, "Our fathers worshiped on this mountain, but you Jews claim that the place where we must worship is in Jerusalem." So here's Jesus talking to the Samaritan woman. And even though he is the Son of God, she doesn't back down. She's feisty. Women in that day were taught to just sort of drop their heads and back away and let the men do whatever they wanted to do. And when it came to the well time, men always got to go first. They wanted to drink. But this woman, she just sort of stands there and she glares at Jesus. She engages him in spiritual and emotional and intellectual battle. She said, wow, she's got nerves of steel. Now, how did she get to be so confident? Why did she feel so well grounded? Because she said, our fathers taught us. That's powerful. She said, this is what my daddy believed, and I'm going to believe the same thing. Now, one of the things that we saw in the video is that, and this can be unfortunate, fathers, your children are going to believe you, and they're going to follow you. It doesn't matter whether you're right or wrong. They will give you some kind of blind allegiance. Now, they will follow you if you lead them to the Lord. But they will also follow you if your teachings are contrary to the Word of God. In our devotional time this week, Bill Mack shared with us some statistics. He said 5 out of 6 American men claim to be Christians. 1 out of 6 goes to church. Now, there's something wrong with that statistic. How can you lead your family spiritually if you do not even go to the house of God to worship and study? Tremendous flaw in our society. Fourth thing that you can do, you can be a good father if you encourage your children. Today's Living Bible paraphrase of Colossians 3:21 says, fathers, don't scold your child so much that he becomes discouraged and quits trying. The NIV says, fathers, do not embitter your children or they will become discouraged. It's one of our greatest failing points. Sometimes our children just get frustrated and they cash in and check out. Sometimes our children are so intimidated, they give up out of anger. We as dads are left trying to figure out exactly how much of everything to give, how much pressure, how much leniency, how many pats on the shoulder and hugs, and how many taps on the bottom. How many of you men have ever mixed concrete? Mixed cement for concrete, okay? Now, it's important. When I was a little boy, there were no bags of ready-mix stuff where you just add water. So we had to get the right amount of everything, sand, the cement, the rocks, and the water. So those 4 ingredients. Some of you guys are going to go home today and you're going to grill out. I am a lousy griller. You know, I turn that job over to Billy because you have to get the right mix of things. You got to have the right temperature and the right cut of meat and the right spices, and you have to cook it for the right amount of time. And I always mess up.